What's up guys, it's Tom here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video. And Liverpool are in talks with the management and the player himself, Manu Kone from Borussia Mönchengladbach, who is as good and as promising a midfielder as Kefren Turam. So if we could sign McAllister, Kefren Turam and Manu Kone, I think our midfield would be sorted for next season. And according to Christian Falk, who broke the news of Thiago signing from Bayern Munich to Liverpool, he said that it's true that Liverpool started negotiations with the management of Manu Kone, who's just a 22-year-old midfielder. He could be an alternative for Jude Bellingham for Liverpool. And another journalist working for the Sport Bild newspaper, Toby Altschlaf, has confirmed this. He gave the seal of approval on Twitter. So in this video we will take a deep look at what these reports say and also what kind of player Manu Kone is, how he could fit in at Liverpool and what he could bring to Liverpool. So if you are excited about this news, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the bell notification so you never miss the latest updates. And Liverpool's new sporting director is already cooking up some brilliant transfers from the Bundesliga. And if you think that Manu Kone would cost just 40 million euros at max, which is like 35 million pounds, it's absolutely crazy how much value you could get for your money, how much bang you could get for your buck if you shop in the Bundesliga for talented midfielders. He literally would cost less than half as much as somebody like Declan Rice, and he would cost a quarter of potentially Jude Bellingham's final transfer fee when he signs for Real Madrid. And Manu Kone is definitely a very promising player for the future. He has very good abilities according to a Bundesliga expert. He can grow to become a big star, but they are not playing in the same positions, Jude Bellingham and Manu Kone. Jude is more of a box-to-box player, more of a number 8. Manu Kone is like a holding midfielder, a number 6, more of a defensive midfielder. His main strength is that he is physically a really top player. He has a strong body, he's very good in tackles, and he's just a powerful guy. So that's perfect for the Premier League. I think he needs to leave. He needs to have a club which is very ambitious, to have good teammates, because his problem at Gladbach was that the team was struggling in many games. And there was a French connection, 5 or 6 French-speaking players, and he was in that bubble, and he didn't really come out of that bubble. He showed his best performances, for example, when Gladbach played Bayern Munich in the German Cup, in the DFB Pokal. That was a very big competition for Bayern, and Gladbach slapped them up 5-0. Can you believe that? Bayern Munich losing 5-0, and Manu Kone was one of the best midfielders on the pitch. He played outstanding, and he's also, Mönchengladbach won in Bayern Munich Stadium 2-1. And he played really well that time as well. He shows what he can do against the biggest teams, but he doesn't show it in every match. But of course, that's expected for a 22-year-old midfielder. He's bound to have some inconsistent performances. He maybe needs the Liverpool mentality to show his full potential, and also Jurgen Klopp, the coach, who could motivate his players so much. He could bring the best out of Manu Kone. And the Bundesliga expert is saying that the situation is very clear. Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp, they want free midfielders and they are looking for them in the Bundesliga. You have the new sporting director Jörg Schmatke, the guys that know the Bundesliga very well, the guy that knows the Bundesliga very well. And so it's obvious that Manu Kone is one of those players that Liverpool want. I think Gladbach know they have to sell him. Gladbach haven't qualified for Europe. They had one of their worst seasons in 12 years. They finished in mid-table. And if Gladbach wants to keep signing young players, promising players, and develop them, they have to sell them on for a profit. Liverpool are pushing, and I think they've got very good chances of getting Manu Kone. I think there is contact, the journalist said, between Liverpool and the people around Kone, the French guys. They are talking and they know Liverpool want Kone. They have to find a solution with Gladbach. But if you ask me, yes, I guess there are already talks. And Liverpool's new sporting director has already plenty of experience in the Bundesliga, in German football. Would you describe this transfer as a typical Jörg Schmatke signing? As I mentioned before, Kone could be Schmatke or also Jurgen Klopp signing. Schmatke knows the Bundesliga very, very well, and he knows every player. The thing is, Kone is not that one big story you might have known everywhere or in England, but Schmatke of course knows his potential and what he can be. It was the same with Ryan Gravenberch, who was maybe a little bit more in the focus of Jurgen Klopp, but Gravenberch was not that big player and he didn't play very often at Bayern. But if you know his potential, then you can imagine he can be a very good player at Liverpool. What other clubs are interested in Manu Kone, you might ask? There were rumors, the journalist said, about Chelsea and PSG wanting Kone, but at the moment Liverpool is number one for him. There is a new era starting in the midfield of Liverpool, and he could be one piece of the puzzle for that. And that's why Liverpool are also so attractive for a midfielder. You know that there is a big gap, a big hole in the Liverpool midfield to fill. So if you are a young player, a promising player, and you have confidence and you back yourself, and of course if you are a professional footballer, you have to have confidence. You can't get to that level without having a lot of confidence. You will see that there is a space in the Liverpool midfield open, and you can take it. You can go there, you can play a lot of football, and you can show the world what you can do, and you can take Liverpool back into the Champions League, back into the title contention, back into Champions League contention. So I think that's a big allure of Liverpool right now for any midfielder who is thinking about joining Liverpool. And the journalist who confirmed that Liverpool are interested in Manu Kone has also said, I think this is a deal which is easier than the big deals that, like, for example, if Liverpool wanted to sign Jude Bellingham. It's only about potentially discussing valuation, like around 35 to 40 million euros is Manu Kone's valuation, which is 35 million pounds. Kone is more likely, because he's not going to have a high transfer fee. Maybe at the end it's 30 million euros plus 5 million add-ons, bonuses, something like that. This could all go fast if Liverpool are pushing this deal forward. So that's very, very promising in my opinion. I mean, for around 35 to 38 million pounds for this kind of midfielder is kind of a steal in today's transfer market. It could be similar of a steal to the Cody Gakpo transfer. I mean, we signed Cody Gakpo for what, 32, 33 million pounds, something like that. And he turns into a brilliant player and he will improve even more. And also, guess what? Manu Kone is on around 5,800 pounds per week. Compared to that, the salaries of like Salah and Van Dijk and others on 250,000 pounds per week. So the financial outlay for a transfer fee and wages is tiny compared to other transfers. And I think Liverpool need to do this deal as soon as possible, alongside Khéphren Thuram and McAllister. Khéphren Thuram also represents great value for money, and then we will have the midfield sorted and we can turn our attention into signing centre-backs who can play full-back as well, Inacio or Timber, those kind of players, Van der Ven of Wolfsburg. So I think even if Manu Kone gets like 5 or 10 times his salary, he could still be a very, very cheap player, which is not to say that he's not very talented, because he definitely is. It's just that the Bundesliga is kind of underrated right now, and especially teams like in mid-table of the Bundesliga, not many big clubs are looking at players from those kind of teams, but there are some really big gems, really big talents in the Bundesliga. So Manu Kone is not a flashy midfielder, but he's a very good tackler of the ball. He's physically very strong. He's very good on the ball, and also he has a great engine. So his work rate and work ethic and energy is kind of what Liverpool have been missing in their midfield this season. He won't contribute many goals or many assists, but he's definitely a player that would improve Liverpool's defense and defending and the midfield. I would compare him to like kind of a crossover between Gini Wijnaldum and James Milner, just to get the sense of what kind of midfielder he is, reading the reports on him. So I think we have badly missed a midfielder like Wijnaldum last season, the season that just finished, I mean. So he has a contract until 2025, and I guess he won't extend his contract. He wants to move to a big club, and if Borussia Mönchengladbach wants to maximize the transfer fee, then they want to sell him right now, because next year, with 1 year left on his contract, his price will go down. And Borussia Mönchengladbach are not like a rich club or a big club in the Bundesliga. I mean, they used to be a big club. They have been playing in the Champions League finals in the 80s against Liverpool, but I think they will try to sell him. Manu Kone's market value is between 30 to 40 million pounds. He's 185 centimeters tall. That's like 6 foot 1 or 2 inches tall. He's a muscular guy, and as I said, he can play center midfield, defensive midfield, attacking midfield. He's right-footed, and he played 31 times this season, but basically Mönchengladbach haven't been in a European competition, so he played in the Bundesliga only. Last season he had like 29 games as well. So what I'm guessing is Manu Kone is like 3rd or 4th in the midfield priority list. He's not number 1, definitely, but because the price is so low, I can see the deal happening, because there is not like a great deal of competition for him, and for like 35 million pounds, there is very low risk signing Manu Kone. If it doesn't work out in 4 years, we can still sell him for pretty much the same amount of money, or inflation adjusted the same amount of money. So we wouldn't even lose out on basically anything. But if he works out and becomes a 70-80 million pound player, then brilliant piece of business. We got a great deal on him. And I mean, it's similar to the Cody Gakpo deal. When Gakpo became available in January for like 35 million pounds, with a player who is like almost at the world-class level, and at Liverpool in some games he played like a world-class striker. He's a very good age profile as well. So I think the Cody Gakpo deal was similarly, like, just Liverpool just had to do it for the price point. It was a great deal for a young, very talented player. And he has all the raw skills, technically and physically, to be a defensive midfielder, and we badly need one. I think alongside Fabinho, or sometimes in place of Fabinho, because Thiago, Henderson, Bajcetic, Thiago and Henderson are injury prone. They are not really out and out defensive midfielders who are great in that role. Especially Thiago. Henderson can do that job, but he has been very underwhelming. Any midfielder who has the energy, the legs, the dynamism to run up and down the pitch, to put tackles in, to really make defensive stops from midfield, that would be an upgrade for Liverpool. For what the midfielders served up for the majority of the season, that kind of player would be an upgrade. Bajcetic is also just 18 years old. If Fabinho is injured or is out of form, you don't want to just rely on an 18-year-old kid, because we overplayed Bajcetic, and then he got injured and his season was over. So you want multiple options in the midfield role. So you could have Fabinho, Manu Kone and Bajcetic as the 3 midfielders for the defensive midfield role. For your left-sided midfield role, you could have Curtis Jones, Alexis McAllister and Thiago. For the right side, you could have Henderson, Harvey Elliott, maybe Fabio Carvalho if Carvalho is not getting sold. It's not too bad reading that Manu Kone is top 5 with midfield duels won, and he also got the most yellow cards in the Bundesliga among midfielders. And I think we definitely need a midfielder who can put a tackle in and who can make defensive stops from the midfield. Fabrizio Romano also said that Liverpool are informed of a price tag for Manu Kone, and talks took place this week between Mönchengladbach and Liverpool, and Manu Kone's representatives and Liverpool's representatives. And French midfielder could be available for just 35 to 40 million euros. Gladbach are prepared to let him leave for that price. Liverpool are working to complete the McAllister deal, but after that we will move on to the likes of Manu Kone, Khéphren Thuram, and I'm really excited about this transfer window now. A Liverpool fan on Reddit says again something funny that I'd love to read. Liverpool classic, signing a player from a club who has financial problems. I mean, that's Liverpool all over again. And the 3 reasons why Borussia Mönchengladbach are having financial problems, of course the obvious one, they again have no European football, so no additional revenue coming in from playing in the Conference League or the Europa League. And that's now the 2 seasons in a row where Gladbach didn't make Europe. Also, they have an obligation to buy Julian Weigl, for example, the former Dortmund and Benfica midfielder. And quite a lot of valuable players are leaving Borussia Mönchengladbach on a free transfer, like Thuram, the striker, the brother of Krepren Thuram, the other son of Lilian Thuram, the world champion. He's leaving on a free transfer. So 35 million for Manu Kone, and then another 40 million for somebody like Julian Timber or Inacio or Van de Ven. Another 50 million, 40 million for Krepren Thuram, 60 million for Alexis McAllister. That would make our transfer business expenditure around 170, 180 million pounds. And I mean, imagine if we signed Jude Bellingham for 150 million. We would be left with just one other transfer that we could make for our whole budget, and that would not be enough. Yeah, as good a player as Jude Bellingham is, probably Liverpool's board said that with the prices that Dortmund are demanding for Jude Bellingham, the deal stopped making sense a few months ago. The only thing that you can be really angry for is maybe the owners not providing enough money with the scouting department and Jurgen Klopp. It was also some of the blame also should be on whoever made the decision that Liverpool didn't need a midfielder. And Jurgen Klopp is a culprit in that. Jurgen Klopp was in the camp of Liverpool don't need to sign a midfielder last summer when we missed out on Tchouaméni. And even Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp, and I love the man to bits. I don't want to criticize him. But it's true that sometimes he was even gaslighting the fans and journalists, saying that tell me where a midfielder who we don't have already, the kind of midfielder that we don't have already. And yes, on paper, Liverpool had 8 great midfielders with vast amounts of different skills and different attributes. But half of them were youngsters, half of them were very injury prone, and a few of them, like Fabinho and Henderson, their form has fallen off the cliff, which of course Jurgen Klopp didn't expect to happen. But also we had so many injuries, that's a caveat as well. But Jurgen Klopp ultimately admitted at the end of the summer transfer window that he was wrong and that Liverpool did indeed need a midfielder. And then we signed Arthur, who played virtually no games, like 12 minutes for Liverpool, which was an absolute tragedy that we spent any money even on a loan deal for him. So Liverpool made a mistake collectively. Whoever made that decision, Jurgen Klopp, the scouting department, they all should be blamed, not just the owners, because yeah, the owners didn't decide not to sign a midfielder, because the owners actually provided decent amount of money for, you know, strikers. We signed Darwin Núñez, we signed Cody Gakpo for a combined like almost 100 million pounds. So they actually spent money, but Liverpool just didn't spend it on a midfielder, and that's what ultimately cost them this season. But hopefully Liverpool learned from that, and next season we will hopefully spend more money on midfielders, and I mean this summer transfer window. And if we can get these kind of midfielders that we are talking about, then we are in for a very exciting season, because I think all these midfielders are very talented and Jurgen Klopp can get the best out of them, and also they are young, they are hungry for success, and that's exactly what Liverpool need. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.